So you've been dieting for 3 to 4 weeks and your progress is going well, but you feel like you'd like to get results a bit quicker. And you're thinking about maybe doing some running to speed up your weight loss. Okay. So what are the potential advantages and disadvantages to doing running to speed up weight loss? Advantages, you're going to burn slightly more calories. Okay. There are other ways we can do this. Or there are other ways we can achieve the same effect. In terms of calorie balance, we've got two ways. We can burn more calories. We can eat less calories. That's our choices, okay? Yes, you could burn more calories, okay? What are the disadvantages of that? Well, if you're losing weight, then you're obviously considering yourself as overweight. If you're overweight, you'll be carrying around more mass. If you're carrying around more mass and you now decide to go running, you're going to put a lot of stress through your joints, and probably you're going to run from going 0 to now half an hour, because that seems like a nice round number, right? Done your half an hour run, aching a bit the next day, maybe even the day after. Carry on this for a while. You may end up developing joint pain systemically, so like long term. You may end up with stress fractures in your lower limbs. You may end up with plantar fasciitis, shin splints, all of these kind of lower limb stress fractures from basically doing either too much lower body impact, or just from putting too much stress through it altogether. So there's a lot of disadvantages associated with running for weight loss. So what should you do instead of maybe running? You can do some running, and I would suggest that if you really enjoy running, then you do it, but definitely don't do it on a concrete road. Okay, this is a terrible idea. Concrete is not built for running. Okay, we need like soft surfaces to absorb the forces that we're putting into the ground when we strike. Okay, so don't run on a concrete road. If you have to run, then run on grass or even a treadmill. Probably grass is preferable. And then you've got to look at injury risk of like running on a trail for ankles and stuff like that. Ankles are weaker if you're putting more weight through them. So massively high injury risk with running. If you get injured, then you can't train. If you can't train, your progress is really going to drop in the long term, okay? So what could you do instead? Well, first, take a look at what you're doing long term in terms of all the other things that you're doing. So is your nutrition on point? Okay, why are we even considering running if the nutrition's not on point? Get that sorted. Okay, probably the reason why you're looking at running is because you're like, oh, that seems like an easy thing that could be enjoyable. But it's like, true, nutrition's tough. Like, no one said it's going to be easy, right? That's probably the hardest bit. So if that's not nailed, like that should be number one on the list. After that, it should be getting enough sleep so that you're not hungry. You're making sure that you're producing enough hormones to regulate your body weight. Your body's not retaining anything it doesn't need to. After that, it should be getting your steps in, making sure you're getting sufficient steps in. If you are only getting 7,000 steps, 4,000 steps, even 10,000 steps, you could just increase it. Like, that's the next best way to burn calories. You don't need to start going running, okay? Like, you can run later on, but if you're carrying a lot of extra weight, it's just not the best thing for you, okay? Then after that, it would be making sure your protein's high enough that you're getting the thermic effect of food and your body's burning calories to digest your food, okay? These are all the three ways you should focus on. So what is running? It's cardiovascular training, increasing our heart rate above sort of a walk of, some people might get their heart rate up to like 110 beats per minute during a walk. So we're looking at getting a bit above that. We're looking at getting to probably 110 to 150 beats per minute. And in fact, if you are doing aerobic training, you should really be going above 150, because we're getting into lactate threshold and we're not really training our aerobic system anymore. It becomes in a grey area of neither anaerobic or aerobic. So if you are training cardiovascularly, then keep it below 150. Then there's so many choices of cardiovascular training, so many choices, and there's so many low impact choices. So you could do the ski erg, you could do the bike erg, you could do an assault bike, you could do a rower, you could do body weight metabolic conditioning. Although you might get sore from it, definitely not going to get joint pain. Pick your exercise wisely. You could do a cross trainer, you could do a recumbent bike, you could do an upright bike. You could do a stepper if you really wanted to. So there's so many other choices for cardio. You could swim. Swimming is brilliant and it's fun. So why would running be number one on the list? It's just an old fashioned thing that people think they need to do to lose weight, and it's just totally wrong. Um, it should be the last thing on your list, and it should only be doing it if you really enjoy it. But then just be careful, like protect your body, like value your body. Like if you're putting your body under that kind of stress when you're overweight, it's just not going to end super well for you. And then there's so many other things that should be like a precursor to like running being the last thing on the list there, unless you enjoy it. So I hope this kind of helps clear up like running for kind of weight loss. There's so many other things that should become before it. There's a lot of risks associated with it. And so many other great things can be achieved just by walking a little bit more protein, watching what we eat a bit more, tracking a bit more accurately, making better choices, sleeping more, hydrating more, getting enough dietary fiber. So yeah, running's absolutely last on the list. And well, I haven't even talked about the interference effect of running, the eccentric loading. So just to finish, when you strike the floor when you run, you lengthen the hamstring really quickly, and then you strike. So like that's eccentric loading. Okay, eccentric loading causes the most soreness. So that's why we get a lot of soreness after running. It's essentially it's high impact. There's a lot of jumps one after another. It's not the best thing unless you're ideal weight and you do it on a good surface. Then great, go for it. But probably like the people watching this video are not going to fit that category. What else about running? Okay, so the interference effect it has with weightlifting. So you're sore from a run. Can you train the same the next day? No. Are you going to train? Yeah, probably. Hopefully, I hope you do go and train, but you're gonna be very sore, so you're not going to train as hard. Or if you do, you're going to increase your injury risk. So on some level, the performance is going to drop. Performance in weightlifting drops. That slows your progression in that area, and that's where we really need to be seeing progression. Now, interference effect is a whole other video, but just think about how the second order impacts of how running might affect your progress. Okay, hope you found this informative. Thank you very much.